Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Good Vibe Show. And today it's a very special episode, a topic very close to my heart and a personality who is very much deep rooted in spiritual thought and India's culture and tradition. And we will go ahead and straight away meet Swami Anupamananda Maharaj. And we are here at the Ramakrishna Mission Center in Chandigarh. And we are going to talk about Swamiji and the teachings and what should the youth do to balance their lives. These are the broad topics. Swamiji, welcome to this special episode of the Good Vibe Show.
Namaskar, Vivek Atray ji.
Thank you, sir.
It is a pleasure to be with you, to be associated with you as always.
Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you so much, Swamiji. It is always a pleasure to meet you, I must say, and we have already shared the stage a few times.
Yes.
But this time we are doing a special edition of the Good Vibe Show. Swamiji, I would like to start off by how were you attracted to the spiritual life and what made you take up the monastic life and what were the initial thoughts at that time?
Yeah, well, basically I belong to a very remote village. And the place where I was living, my world was very small, to say. Till, say, at the age of 20, almost 20, my whole life revolved around about 50-kilometer dias area. So that is the kind of place I was born and brought up. But then, when I was studying in 9th standard, fortunately for me, in that village, I got a book of Swami Vivekananda. That is, in English, is called Swami Vivekananda and His Call to the Nation.
Yes.
And basically from village, and there was no distraction. And I read and reread. And at some point, without my knowing, this thought entered me that the life, that people were leading was not for me. I need to explore the whole world and do something, what you called a bigger thing. Like Swami Vivekananda, I had already read, and I wanted to associate with him and with his ideas, and where I become less important, but something for others, thinking about the others, that becomes more important. So that's how it started.
Absolutely a very noble way to start, and that, as you said, there were no distractions.
Yeah.
And you were able to get deeper into the thought. So Swamiji, without going too much here and there, what is the essence of these teachings? And what is it that attracted you and should attract the normal human being towards these teachings?
Yeah, basically what happens, the youngsters now, when they enter their life and professional life, etc. So mostly you will find, the kind of environment they come from, they become more and more self-centered. What is very important is that, of course, you take care of yourself, build your career and everything. But at the same time, what would be my contribution to others? There is a joy in sharing and caring.
That's right.
As long as we do not understand this, then the life becomes a kind of contracted life. So this is what I found, the change of thinking that made me ultimately to come to this life, spiritual life. So this is an important aspect. Of course, take care of yourself, study well, have a good job, have a good life. But at the same time, know that the real joy comes from in sharing and caring.
And Swamiji, I guess it's the inner battle which really matters. I mean, today I thought I'll wear this colored shirt so that I knew that you will be in these ochre clothes, but the outer garb is not that important. What is going on within is really more important, and I, being a speaker, I also try to emphasize these points for the youth: balanced living, calmness, being centered inward rather than too much outward. But Swamiji, how can what they claim to be very busy people of today, how can they follow the spiritual path and balance their lives accordingly?
Yeah, it's very important for everyone to take a little time out and think about themselves. When I say themselves, it's not only about their, the personal life or their physical appearance and other things, but deep within them. What is that power that drives us? what actually essence of the human being. That is why in the Upanishads they talk about this paranche khani vedranat swayambhu tasmat parang pashyati antaratman. Basically, our senses and our mind have been created in such a way, they have the tendency to go outward, extrovert. So, Upanishad says that kaschin dhira pratyagatmanam ekyat avrta chakshu. Some people who are brave. So, what they do is that, cut this tendency of the mind which is naturally going out and turn that, vision inside. So, that is what is called the meditation basically. So, once you start meditating, then what happens? You will have a clarity of thinking. Meditation doesn't mean just about thinking about God or something like that. So there are a lot of process that takes place. Say for example, introspection. So you start introspecting. You start to understand the things. Basically, mind gets clogged because when we engage in our day-to-day life. So we are just, probably sometimes, we'll be running without thinking that where we are running. So when we stop for some time and think, use that brain that is given by God, intellect given by God, and think and meditate, that will help us to have a full vision about whole life. Life is not about just having some position, some power, some this thing, a career, etc. It is much more than that. It's such a beautiful life that is given by God, this human birth. When we try to understand this through meditation, then naturally this clogged mind gets cleared, and you will have a clear vision of life. That helps us to move forward actually.
That's very well said and expressed. It's very in a simple but effective way, Swamiji. Swamiji, when we read about Ramakrishna Paramahansa ji, Swami Vivekananda ji, a normal office goer looks at you, you are a renunciant. Somehow he or she feels distant from you and the great gurus, the saints, that they are able to do this. They can balance their life, they can meditate. But how can I do it? Because I am an office goer, I am a college student, I have so much work to do. How can I meditate? Or how can I find that peace and calmness? So what are the baby steps they should take to get somewhere where they can be convinced?
You see, the first thing is that you want to become great. So read the life of people who have become great.
Right.
Say for example, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He had gone to Belur Math, our headquarters where Swami Vivekananda stayed during his last days. He had been to Porbandar, where Swami Vivekananda stayed for more than 4 months, 5 months. And he would go and sit in that room and then meditate.
Right.
Remember, many people do not know. He used to meditate regularly.
Yes.
And that is why you will find him so joyful. He would do everything with so much of interest and enthusiasm. Even till his last days, you will find him so much. From where it comes? It is because of the spiritual background.
That's right.
This meditation, it doesn't mean that he was very busy. He was missile man of India. And one cannot just, he was president of India. And one can see the kind of, the busy life he led. But in spite of that, he would take time out and make sure every day he meditated. So that is the secret, There need to be balance. And one more thing I would like to say is that those who regularly meditate, they become more alert mentally. And that is why they will be able to take decision also very quickly. They do not require to think much because, the mind is already focused. Suppose there is a point now, he has to take a decision in this. He is taken things very quickly, shifts his mind very quickly and focuses on that, and then there is another issue. And he can focus on that very quickly, so that mind is free, mind is ready, mind is listening to him actually. So wherever he wants to focus, it is ready to focus. And because of this, the work normally or some thinking etc., which takes normally 1 hour, 2 hours, for him it takes about 15-20 minutes.
That's right. In fact, this is what I wanted to say after you said this, that your effectiveness, your efficiency, your dynamism increases because of that half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever it is you have meditated. In the remaining time, you are far more effective in your work.
Exactly.
And you are achieving the purpose of life by meditating, which is to become God-centered. So that it is quite a no-brainer actually.
Yeah. In fact, I remember an incident in Sri Ramakrishna's life where his guru, Totapuri, who actually comes from Ladana. We are very close here,
Patiala.
Near Kurukshetra.
Near Kurukshetra.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's basically from there, and there his monastery is there. And he had gone to Calcutta, where Sri Ramakrishna lived in Dakshineshwar, stayed with him for about 11 months. And then he had this kamandalu. Yeah. And every day he used to clean it. He used to, shine very brightly. It was a metal one, brass metal, and it had to be cleaned every day. Then one day Sri Ramakrishna asked, why are you cleaning it every day? Then he told, it's like mind. So it works better when it is completely clean.
Yeah.
In the same way, if you meditate regularly, your mind also works better.
Absolutely.
So that is meditation is required because of that. The clarity of thinking. Mind is very clear. You are able to think very, very well.
Absolutely.
So that is why he says that meditation is very important.
Absolutely. In fact, I speak to the youth and I tell them, you put in 10 hours of study, but your output is only 3 hours.
Exactly.
Better that you do for 4 or 5 hours, you do sports, you meditation, yoga, reading, some other books, entertainment. And only 5 hours you study, but you study 5 hours because your efficiency is much more.
Yes.
But Swami, coming to the youth, the problems of the day are overthinking, stress, too many distractions of social media, too many other distractions.
Right.
So how do young people balance their lives, get away from those, let's say, evil tendencies and get into the right constructive path, become good family men, become spiritual, become productive, successful? This is a very difficult, complex problem of today.
Yeah. It is true. The main obstruction for this is social media. Everyone is talking about that now. And one should know very clearly that we are using social media. It should not be vice versa.
Right.
That's what actually is happening. We are being used by it. The youngsters are getting addicted to it.
Yes.
The result is, their mind is, they are unable to focus on anything else. So that is why, as I told you, meditation, and in meditation you will understand all these things, and that you will know how to use it. It's in itself, it is not bad. Social media in itself is not bad. It's the way how we use it. It will be beneficial if we use it properly. So how we will understand? Naturally, introspection and thinking about these things. It is very important for us.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, the brain that is given by God, intellect that is given by God, when we do not use it properly, when we do not think regularly about this, then naturally, we will be out of track. So what I suggest is that, take some time out every day, maybe 20 minutes or half an hour morning, meditate, and also physical exercise, regular physical exercise.
Absolutely.
Because blood circulation to the whole body is very, very important for any kind of, working of the brain or for functioning of the body and for proper digestion, for everything. It's very, very essential, doing regular exercise. And this time that is spent is not waste actually. It adds value to your life. It adds value to your life, and you will be able to think properly, and you will be able to focus properly, concentration. So that is how, we can, youngsters can put their, this thing on track, life on track. Otherwise, so you read something in the social media, blindly you follow, you do not know what actually it is. Or some friend says something, blindly you follow, and ultimately spoil the life.
Absolutely.
This is what's happening. So only when they start thinking about this, what actually I want in life, what is the purpose of my life, and for that what I am supposed to do. And when you keep on remembering about this time and again, then youngsters can be on track, and so that they can, the beautiful life that is given by God, that can be utilized properly.
Swami Vivekananda ji emphasized willpower. Now this willpower is what is required to achieve what you just said. Many a time I go to colleges where they are spending so much time watching reels, for example, which are coming. There is willpower required to extract yourself from there and then do that. So can we somehow work on little methods of developing willpower? And one of the ways you rightly mentioned is physical exercise. It actually helps you to sleep on time. You will not be lying awake. And sleep deprivation is also one of the things that youngsters are suffering from today. And that numbs their mind also. So how do we develop more dynamic willpower, Swami?
Yeah, in fact, the first and foremost thing is that the person concerned, whoever it is, they must understand that they need to develop this willpower.
That's right.
It's very important. Unless they understand, nobody can force an unwilling horse to drink water, as the saying goes. So that is why one must be aware about this. Yes, I do not have. If that is the case, then one has to fix some small goal and achieve it. Say, for example, you take a vow that I will sit and read for half an hour from this time to this time. Make a small thing and achieve that. And that will help you to develop willpower. And then afterwards a bigger goal. Say, for example, if you are a student, I will study for 1 hour in the morning hours. Decide some kind of this kind of things. No, it can be about sports, it can be about this thing, whatever it is. But then every day one must follow this. That will help one to develop that willpower. Small goal initially, then slowly go for the bigger goal, this thing. And this will help one to develop the willpower. Because it's one's own experience. I can do it. The feeling naturally comes.
Very true, Swamiji, because there is a book also these days very popular, Atomic Habits by James Clear. So he says little by little, step by step. You wake up at 7 a.m., you want to wake up at 6:30 or 5:30, don't go drastically there, start 10 minutes at a time.
Exactly.
And then you will achieve your result.
Yes.
Swamiji, the spiritual life itself, or looking at the bigger picture. So many people give up after starting. I have some friends who say, I tried to meditate for a week, but then I gave up. I said, for a week, this is a lifelong quest. So please don't give up after a week. So what do you say to someone who is just casual thing, but who wants to, but just doesn't have that final leap of faith to move towards that spiritual life?
Probably, they need to read a little more about spirituality, like books of Swami Vivekananda and all, because these positive thoughts have to go inside. What Swami Vivekananda says is that the world has got a natural tendency to fill our mind with negativity. How to overcome this? How to counteract this? Fill your mind with positive ideas, Swami Vivekananda says time and again. So instilling positive ideas and have such friends who actually encourage you to do something, something good, something better. Such friends, one must be very careful about this, while choosing the friends. Nowadays, what happens, especially student community, all classmates are called friends. No. They are acquaintance and you may talk to them and everything, but then friends are very few. So those who really help you to become better individual, remember, not the ones who help in copying in the examination, but rather those who help you to become better individual, such can be called friends really, such people. Yes. So that's why I told one must be aware about these things. One must be, but you see, what I have seen is that, some of the social media posts and other things, they come across all these things.
Yes.
But they never pay attention to this.
That these positive things are also coming there.
Yeah.
But they never pay attention. They want the masala type of thing.
Exactly.
But Swamiji, the problem of the world today also appears to be a crisis of leadership. Even in academics, government, corporate India, and the world also we see, this leadership is not being developed, or nobody's talking about it actually. In school we'll study chemistry, physics, and no leadership qualities are being taught. Swami Vivekananda's teachings, India's teachings of scriptures, they can help. But what is the way in which today's youth we can hope to have better leaders of tomorrow from them? How can we enable them to become better leaders?
Yeah, naturally, while choosing role model, one must be extremely careful. One must be extremely careful because someone has acted in a film very well. They cannot become role models. Or somebody has done few success. They cannot be role models.
Be role model, I agree.
One has to study their life. How they have undergone those struggles. How they have held on to truth, the principles, certain principles in life. And how they are able to contribute to the society and to the country as a whole. That should be taken as a criteria. When that is taken as criteria, and when such an individual, such a person, such a great man is taken as an ideal, role model, then such people will succeed. Because already that this thing is there, you see, the orientation is there, you see. But having said that, it is very important for youngsters to understand that read the life of great men.
Yeah.
It takes little time. One has to go through that. It's not that, the few quotations you take of Swami Vivekananda and say, Swami Vivekananda said like this, and Swami Vivekananda said many things like, arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. There are many positive thinking, but few quotations will not do. Study his life. To come to that level, how much struggle he had to undergo, Swami Vivekananda. Well, when he was a student and youngster coming up, everything was bright, and suddenly his father passed away. And there was nobody to support the family, and he had to search for job, this thing, that thing, etc. And so much of struggle, poverty in the home. Many times he would not take food at all for a whole day. That was the kind of situation he passed through, but he did not give up. And later on, when he traveled all over the country, though he did not know from where the next morsel of food would come.
Absolutely.
And where he would stay for the night. 4 years he traveled all over the country like this, to understand what India actually was.
Yeah.
So for this, he wanted to have a first-hand experience, and that's why he had to undergo. And from there he went to America, and even before participating in the Parliament of Religions, he had to face a lot of difficulties because they looked down upon Indians. They never liked these brown-skinned people, you see, in any way. But only when he became very popular, that because of the Chicago addresses, where he addressed it gathering as sisters and brothers of America, and ultimately, he started getting headlines. And still his troubles were not over. There were other kinds of this thing, with popularity comes different, envy among the people.
Absolutely.
And all these things, he had to face them. But he never gave up because he knew that he had a purpose and he had to achieve that. And he knew that his guru had reposed faith on him and he has to prove himself. So
Absolutely.
with that, with the aim, there is a purpose when he was approaching, and along with that, his character, personality. Never say die attitude. Whatever may happen.
Never say die.
Yeah, never say die. So I will try.
You're so right, Swamiji.
Yeah.
We need those role models.
Such role models are
We
required.
need to pick up those role models, and today I also emphasize many a time that parents have to be role models, because they keep telling children, do this, don't do this. But unless you exemplify what you say, then you cannot achieve that.
No, when it comes to parents, I would like to give one suggestion here. Many of the parents show only rosy picture of their family. They do not want their children to know about the troubles and tribulations they are facing. Actually, it's a wrong idea.
Yeah.
It's a wrong idea. Because I come across many parents, I have been interacting with the students and the youth for the past 30 years. And I come across certain parents. What they say is that, we had to undergo so much of trouble, shortage, we do not want our children to face this. I told you, don't try to have a rosy picture.
Right.
Where they do not understand the real picture of life. Unless they understand it now, when they are faced with difficulty, they will not be able to face it.
Right.
So that is why they have to be told about this. How they are struggling to pay for their college fees, education, and for their picnic, whatever it is, how parents are struggling, they must be made understand. Children should understand this. So then you will see this particular aspect of the struggle, the life, their struggle is a part of life. Swami Vivekananda tells very clearly, this world is a gymnasium. We have come here to make ourselves strong. So that is why the struggle is part of life, and that is going to make you stronger and stronger. So that is why I would advise parents that don't hide these things, the troubles and tribulations of the family.
Yes.
Children should be made part of this.
Yes.
As they are part of this joy, sharing that joy, in the same way this problem also they have to share.
They have to share.
So then and then alone they will become strong.
Absolutely, Swamiji. They have to go through the trial by fire at times
Yeah.
to emerge stronger.
Yeah,
That is how the world is. And life is full of obstacles and ups and downs. We should accept that.
Naturally, because later on, these same children have to face the life, you see. Harsh truth about life. Because nobody will be there then. So, and as long as the parents are there, they must teach them. And when they are on their own, how they will be able to face this?
Swamiji, any final couple of lines that you'd like to address to our viewers and on the future, on the road ahead?
Yeah, you see, the life is full of opportunities. When an opportunity presents before you, make use of it. Don't, expect that something great will happen or something like that. Whatever, it may be a small opportunity, but it must be utilized properly.
Absolutely.
When you use it, then you will see. And second thing is that this life is not only of yours. When you become a youngster or a professional, whatever it is, there is a contribution from so many people. So that is the time that you have to give it back to society. So one must have this, Swami Vivekananda, as he points out, Shiva Jnana Jiva Seva. One must try to contribute back to give back to society. Then and then alone, this society will go on, in a proper way. So that is why, and not only that, it gives tremendous joy to individual. So that is why these two things one has to remember. One, when an opportunity presents before you, make use of it. Try your level best. And then second thing is that make sure that your life should not confine with you, the I capital, but yes, share and care. That is the real joy in life. So this is the message that I would.
Wonderful message, Swamiji. And in fact, this is the Good Vibe Show. And those vibes or vibrations which I can feel here in this temple with you, it's so beautiful. And I think the vibrations are going to the viewers as well. Not only what you said, but how you are. And what we are sharing here is a beautiful conversation, which I'm sure will be enjoyed by many viewers. Thank you so much, Swamiji, for coming. And it is a blessing for us.
Yeah. Best wishes to you and for all your viewers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.